Welcome to What the Mom podcast. You are listening to Doulas Petra
and Jacqueline.
Motherhood can be isolating and hard.
We are two doulas who want to provide a safe place to talk about all things mom,
From pregnancy
to birth,
to postpartum.
to parenting.
Join us as we have real conversations about real life.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to our podcast, What the Mom.
It's been a while.
It has. We apologize for not having regular releases, but life's been crazy. And I mean, after all, we are also moms, so.
And sports and just getting back into school and Petra having a baby, just all kinds of things. So anyways, happy to be back.
Yeah. Today's episode is all about sleep deprivation with a newborn.
Yes, that's a good topic.
This is something the majority of moms struggle with, so we figured we'd talk about it a little bit, what it is and how we can combat it, and maybe some of our own experience with it as well.
Yes, totally. I'm just going to go and lock the door. Sorry.
Yeah, so we are by no means experts in this area, but it's worth talking about, right? Because we're all moms and it's important to share ideas.
Yes. So what is the meaning of sleep deprivation?
Mhm.
It is when a person doesn't get enough sleep. This can be a short-term issue affecting 1 or 2 nights, or it can be a chronic concern and last weeks or even months. So, yeah, I mean, Petra has a baby who is, 2 months?
He's just about 3 months now.
That's crazy. I don't even know how that's even possible. So Petra is in the thick of it right now with 4 other children.
Yep.
Petra, how do you help yourself in this situation?
Well, I guess one thing to remember is that it is normal for a newborn to wake up in the night.
Very.
In fact, it's actually healthier. Biologically, I think a baby's body is supposed to wake up lots because that's what helps it stay alive, right?
Absolutely.
So before we were all civilized and in homes and had all this safety and stuff, we were just living in huts and caves and whatever we could find for homes.
Yes,
You'd have to build,
seriously.
you'd have to build something that was not as safe as our homes today. You had to be on high alert. You had to be careful. So a baby waking up at night meant the mom would be waking up at night with that baby, checking on the baby, making sure the baby's okay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're hardwired to do this basically. And so it is normal. Their stomach is very small, very, very, very small. And so they drink lots of milk, whether it's breast milk or formula. And then they need to eat again really quickly. And breastfeeding, you will even more often than formula. And so that's something else to remember in the very beginning. So I think if you just remember that, it's easier to think, okay, I'm waking up for a reason. Like, this is normal. It's not because I have a crazy baby or anything like that.
No, that is a good point. Absolutely. And how do I explain this? How do I want to explain this? Sleep deprivation is it can be different for everyone. So you're in your stage of life right now, and I have a toddler who doesn't always sleep, and that's super frustrating. So I feel like it can happen at any stage also,
It can.
So for me, I don't know, I've just been using my kid. She takes her to bed and she sleeps with her all night. So that really does help. And it gives her better quality. I think just having somebody there, I think just helps her go to sleep. And I don't fight it. I'm like, if you want to go sleep with your sister, then all the power to you. But
Yeah.
yeah, the quality of sleep is also a different thing. So like it depends on like they
Yeah.
talk about your REM sleep. So a mom could be laying down and resting and like closing her eyes, but that doesn't mean that her quality of sleep is that great.
Yeah. It's
As a
true.
mom, you wake up because what? You hear a baby cry, right? And like this is huge for moms that co-sleep. I co-slept with all my kids. And as soon as I would hear them cry, I would be like freaked out and I would like grab them right away. And so, like, really, and then you'd be kind of asleep until the next cry. But technically, you're not actually sleeping, I would say, would be um, the easiest way to explain it, right? Like, are you actually getting quality of sleep while you're waiting for that baby to wake up again?
Yeah, you're not getting that deep sleep.
Not necessarily, right? So,
Yeah.
sleep, we all know, sleep for health is like, it's like the pinnacle of health.
Yeah.
So, if we're not sleeping properly, then our bodies can't heal while they're sleeping. And so that's like something you really got to get under control, especially if you have multiple children,
Yeah.
because then you have no how do you explain it? You have no other choice because your quality of sleep and like that's like so important to your health and your well-being. And that just shows how you show up, right? In like normal life.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we wrote a couple things down here too. So having a routine, Petra, how important is having a routine?
Ugh. It's actually very important.
Yeah,
I found for me, like, my children tend to anticipate certain things in the bedtime routine, and if we don't do the same things we normally do, especially when they're younger, then,
funny.
like, everything actually is just more, like, chaotic when you're trying to get them to sleep. It's almost like the brain recognizes these certain things that you do in the routine that tells the brain, "Okay, now it's time to calm down, now it's time to go to sleep." And so, there's a
Yeah.
lot of different routines out there that you can use, but I know a lot of people say to try to incorporate at least 1 or 2 of the what do they call it? The 5 Bs or something?
I
So
think I've
brush
heard
teeth,
of them.
yeah, brush teeth, bath, bedtime story,
Okay, that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
um, I feel like there was 5, but maybe there's 4, I don't know. So anyways, those types of things. So you can have a bath if you wanna have that as part of your routine every day. Personally, I didn't because I don't bathe every day. But
That's tough. I've
yeah,
never done that either because of
some
that
people some
situation.
people like to though, because when a child has a bath, when you get out, your body temperature has changed and it actually cools down a little bit when you get out
Yeah.
of the bath, and then that can help with bringing on sleepiness. But I didn't personally incorporate that because I didn't do it every single night.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, brushing teeth is a very important one, and when you have babies, you can even just rub their gums, with a clean finger, or they have these little, um,
Little nubby things.
mitt yeah, these little mitt things you put on your finger to rub on our baby toothbrushes that aren't actual bristles, or more like
Yeah.
rubber, yeah, like soft, to get them used to that sensation of the brushing so that when it's time, they're not gonna fight you as hard. Um,
Yeah.
you don't have to, but that's just an idea some people do. You can also, do bedtime stories. Some people like to read every night. That's something that we always did. We always liked reading. So you could do
Yeah, I feel like reading is also calming.
it is,
And
yeah,
if
because
if
you're
you do a book,
quiet
then
listening.
they know what to expect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that
Some
makes sense.
sometimes, people will do singing songs, so maybe you sing some quiet, calm, maybe lullabies or something like that before you go to sleep, or
Yeah.
nursery rhymes even.
Yeah, that's a good
Uh,
one too.
some nights that I'll do songs if we're going to bed late and I just don't have time for stories, or if we're away from home and I don't have books with me,
Yeah.
sometimes we'll sing instead. So my kids kind of have recognized the swap between stories and singing. They're both
Yeah.
bedtime.
Yeah.
Um, you can pray with your child before you go to sleep. You can do cuddles, like, I'm gonna lay beside you for a minute before you go to sleep, but you have to be careful with that one because they
Yes.
may if they fall asleep with you cuddling, then they rely on it. If you just cuddle and you leave when they're still awake, then that's okay.
And then forever, you're going to be going in there and you're gonna have to snuggle them back to sleep. And
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
We were just talking about this before the podcast.
Yes, we were. And you know what? If that's how other people do it, that's totally fine. It's
They
just
can, yeah.
it's not for me, and you will notice yourself getting more extremely exhausted more than you need to
It's
be.
exhausting, yeah, that's the thing.
And you need to look out for yourself, mama, and you need to have some time by yourself. And if every single time your kid starts crying, you go to them, then they're going to learn that that's what they can do and they will do that forever. So,
Yeah. And it's the same thing
word
with
of advice, don't do it.
yeah.
I
It's the
can't. I don't
same
have the
thing with
mental.
breastfeeding to sleep too though, right? It's really easy if you are breastfeeding
Yep,
to just pop the baby on the boob and say, "Okay, I'm gonna feed the baby," and they get tired, they start to fall
what
asleep,
I did.
then you lay them down. What happens? They wake up, "Oh, I don't have the boob anymore, I wanna breastfeed." So now they're gonna cry because they wanna breastfeed back to sleep again.
Yep,
And
and
then you just
then they'll be
created
mad if you don't.
yeah, you create another sleep association.
Yep,
Or same thing if you're always rocking the baby or, up and down or side to side, the baby falls asleep
yep,
like that, you're gonna have to do it every time they wake up.
every single time.
Yeah,
And I learned that the hard way.
yeah,
That was one thing that Keith was like, "Hey, whenever, the kid is upset, like, you'd always just give them the boob," and, like, all it showed them was that whenever they were upset, they would just get what they wanted,
yeah,
and it literally did nothing. So, um, yeah, have a routine. Next thing we kinda covered, but make time for sleep. So, like, Petra is in her life right now, um, with 5 young kids, 1 being a baby. So, I would say, like, advice would be, like, if you are struggling with sleep, absolutely sleep when you have the time.
yeah,
Like, you have to make time for sleep. So, that might mean what Petra does is she'll go to bed earlier and she'll just sleep while her little one's sleeping, and then she gets, a little bit more.
yeah,
Sometimes you gotta do that. And sometimes that might mean that you don't have as much time as you would in the evening without your kids.
yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
important because
sleep's
it
important.
is one of the pillars of health. Like, if you're not resting, that is awful. I've been thinking about just even being an adult and, like, being so crazy busy the way that I am all the time. Even just trying to go to bed at 10, even a couple nights a week,
Yeah,
it'd be a miracle. But, it's like sacrificing things that maybe, but, okay, I say sacrificing things that I might not want to right now, but then what if I could get up at 6 instead of 7:30
yeah,
and have some time for myself in the morning?
yeah,
Like, you just gotta flip it. It's kinda like, "Okay, what could you do instead?" And
yeah,
so, I would say Petra probably agrees with me the same thing. Like, you just have to there's a way around it, you just have to figure it out.
yeah.
And
You
it
have to
might
get
not
creative
be
if you can.
exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And something I've been doing, um more recently, especially with the last couple of babies, is just having naps. So with your
Yep.
first baby, obviously, like the saying, sleep when the baby sleeps, you can do that. When you have other kids, it's a little bit more tricky, but it's not impossible.
So you nap when the little ones are napping,
Yeah.
and then you
So
put a show on or something for the old
yeah.
ones.
So I've tried different things, but as long as, like, the really little ones are sleeping,
Yep.
which they're still napping, right, when they're toddlers, or at least that's what we're hoping for.
I wish.
Um, if I can get my toddler or toddlers to nap, then my older kids, I can give them something quiet to do. So I can either set them up with some coloring, I can turn
Yes.
on a movie for them, I
Yeah.
can, um tell them, "Hey, why don't you guys play a board game while I'm having a nap?" And I will go have a nap, and I will set my alarm so that
Yeah.
I wake up before my toddler normally wakes up. And then I'll just let my kids know, like, the rules, like, you don't answer the door, you just
Yeah.
ignore it if anybody comes to it. You
Yeah.
only come and wake me up if there's an emergency. Okay, what's an emergency? Blah, blah, blah. I go through that so they all know.
Just go through it so they
Yep.
know.
I
Yep.
leave out a snack and a water, and they're good to go. And
Yep.
then I will go sleep when the little ones are sleeping. It doesn't work out every day because sometimes there's nap strikes. Sometimes the baby and the toddler's not napping at the same time. Sometimes our days are just way too busy. So
Yeah.
that's not always feasible, but
Yeah.
sometimes it is, right?
And that's the thing, you do it when it allows you to. It's important to make that
Yeah.
time. Another point would be limit the time that you spend around lights or using electronics. So I went to this like I don't know, it was like an event and they talked all about this and what they said is a couple hours before you're going to go to bed, you should not have any screens of any kind
Yeah.
because what it does is it stimulates your nervous system and it's like cock a doodle doo. It's like wake
Mhm.
up. It's not good and it's very hard to put to sleep something quickly when it needs that time to wind down. So
Yeah.
just like children need a bedtime routine, so does an adult. So I would
Mhm.
say, like, think about things that make you, sleepy, and start doing them. And I could take this lesson myself. Like, I'm always somebody, especially working from my phone, doing my business from my phone,
Yeah.
all the things. We're always bombarded with screens and then you want to just watch your favorite show and you want to zone out because you're a mom and you're exhausted and you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't want nothing. I just want a bag of chips and my show. But then we feel like crap when we can't sleep. So that's another thing I would say absolutely. And I know Petra's definitely going to agree with me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, that's huge.
Anytime you have something with screens, it gives you artificial light. And it's even the same thing with the LED lights in our homes. A lot of people are using now. It's actually not good for our brains. And it messes with our natural hormones that help us know the difference between day and night, right?
It's crazy.
And that's why they say it's so important to have natural sunlight during the daytime so
Yep.
that your body recognizes that natural daylight. And in the evening, like, wind down early before bed. Have either just dimmed lights or have candles or something lighter on, like, not like the big, bright, blaring lights, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
stimulates your nervous system. I'm telling you
oh, it
guys, there's
totally does.
science towards it.
Yeah. I
Science
mean,
backs it up.
yeah. And, like, we as humans, we're just creatures of habit. Like, routines are something that
Oh
as much
gosh.
as a lot of
Yeah.
people like to fight them, our bodies, we naturally have certain routines that we do, whether it's good or whether it's bad.
Yep.
So there's things that you'll find yourself always doing. So for some people, it might be watching those TV shows. They're easily addictive. We all have done it at some point in our lives, even if it's not all the time. Maybe for
Prison
somebody
Break.
else. Yeah. For other people,
Terrible.
Maybe it's scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or X or whatever social
Also
media site.
guilty. Also guilty.
Uh-oh, Jacqueline.
I'm guilty of all of them.
It's hard though.
It's so hard because you want to escape from your reality.
You do, yeah.
You
We
do,
just you're
especially after a
tired.
long day with kids and with husbands. It's just like you
It's
just don't want to
exhausting.
have to think about stuff for a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, it's true.
And that's why
Um,
we go to those things.
and sometimes that's also the time where people wanna get work done because they're like, "Oh, my kids are asleep now, I have time, it's quiet, my hands are free."
That's
But
what I'm
then
doing.
you're on the
Currently writing letters when my kids go to bed.
yeah, but at least that's not on a computer or a
No,
phone.
but when I have to get codes and stuff, I do have
Yeah,
to go on the computer. But you're right. It is mostly I am just writing.
yeah. But if you're doing everything on a computer or a phone and you wanna do it in the evening, that's not always good. There are things that you
And
can help.
that's terrible. Yes. Blue light glasses would be a good
Yeah.
thing.
Um,
Yeah.
you can also get programs on computers that will
Yeah.
change the way the lighting is on the
Yeah.
screen. There's a
What's
few different things.
what? Okay, just wait.
Um,
Um
yeah, like, there's a few different things that you can do to mitigate it.
uh-oh, my kids are waking up. Okay, so another one is avoid drinking alcohol or eating meals close to bedtime.
Yes.
That is a bad thing. Jacqueline does it all the time, and then she wonders why she can't sleep. So I would
True.
say avoid drinking alcohol, absolutely, and eating a
Yeah.
meal. Um, if you need something, I would say like have like a tea.
Oh, yeah. Like chamomile tea, that's great for helping with sleep.
Yes, or nighttime tea. They have like
Yeah.
nighty night tea or whatever. Like that just like has really good stuff in it, lots of benefits and can help you sleep.
Yeah.
Um Also, physical activity, absolutely. So there is one thing that I used to always sleep like a baby, way better, is when I move my body.
Yeah.
So if that means like doing a workout, that's what I need to do. It's like, well, I don't want to do a workout.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do. But we know that if we worked out, Petra, we'd feel better and we would sleep better.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? Because it's the
Long-term
endorphin.
effects.
It's yeah. It's really important to do that. That's another thing. That's another pillar of health, you know?
Yeah,
Eating
it
good
is.
food, moving your body, drinking lots of water and getting plenty of sleep. Like,
Yeah.
gotta be better at that, you know? And I think the last one would be, ah, I'm not against medication. Okay. Actually, I say try CBD over like any over the counter prescription medication. 100%. Personally, that's just me.
Mhm.
Um but don't rely on sleep medication. I do not like that. Like I don't think that your body should get used to taking melatonin to go to sleep. I personally don't think that. If that's how you feel, then that's totally fine. There's no judgment, but like my thing would be to look at things that are natural first.
Mhm. It's
Like
true.
getting rid of the screens, not letting my kids eat chocolate or treats before bed. That's going to like
Sugars that will hype them up, yeah.
wake them up and have them not sleep. Or like my daughter, like she'll kick in her sleep. She'll just kick the door or she'll kick like the wall, and then like she just like will get startled and she'll like kick the wall, and I'm like, dude, I do that sometimes too. It's just like it's not that you need to medicate. Like she's fine, she's just like kicking the wall like big whoop. But then she's like he gave her melatonin one time and she didn't kick the wall, and I'm like, well, good for her, but like I don't think that giving a child that every single night just to avoid them from kicking the wall is necessarily a good thing either, you know?
Yeah, because it's
And my
true.
husband wouldn't. He wouldn't agree that it's good to just give it to all the time, you know? Like I know he wouldn't.
Yeah,
We spoke about that. So
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
if
I
you
think there's other
follow some
things.
of yeah, if you follow some of these ideas that we've been talking about, your body will naturally make its own melatonin that helps you sleep.
Yup.
Like like my husband and I recently just bought a whole bunch of, beeswax candles, and we decided in the evening, especially with winter slowly coming,
Yeah.
getting closer, our nights are getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
We decided in the evening hours we want to try using candles more than we are with our lights because it's a more calming environment that will help our bodies naturally get to a more calm state sooner.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I
And
never even thought of that.
candles just they feel nice as well, right?
Candles definitely do, and they can smell really nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. I should look into that. Um, I mean, a big thing to me talking about sleep deprivation is it can affect everyone in the family.
It can, yeah.
So the more we can figure out our stuff in regards to that, it's going to leave you feeling happier, in a better mood, which is going to make you more pleasant to be around.
Yeah.
And, that also goes with, feeding your body good, solid, whole foods, every single day, drinking lots of water. Like it's not rocket science. It's just like do things to help the body just
Yeah.
function well.
It's true.
Um I'm not gonna lie, since actually I was having trouble sleeping and staying asleep, uh, I think it was just the stress, or I don't know, and I think I was really low in certain vitamins, and I was just really not well. Um, and then I would nap all the time because I was exhausted, and, I started taking a supplement called Juice Plus, and I'm not even kidding you, it made me have better quality of sleep. And I can attest this. Many people say the
Yeah.
same thing. And what it is fruits and vegetables in capsules, and that is all it is. And I'm not even kidding you. It is like a game changer. So if anybody wants to know more about that, we can post about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I truly do care about people that I love and care about. And it's like
Yeah.
I just see way too many people that are just not taking care of themselves, and it is so important.
That is
My
true.
upline, that was part of her story. She said she used to fall asleep at the steering wheel because she was so tired because she wouldn't sleep at night. And then she started taking Juice Plus and she started sleeping through the night and staying asleep. And so we can definitely post that too. But you guys, you're worth it. Take care of yourself. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all. And sleep
True.
deprivation doesn't have to be part of your story. And if you
Mhm.
guys have any questions or something we never covered in our conversation with you guys, then let us know.
Mhm.
And we're always willing to answer any questions that you guys have because that's why we're here. We're here to help serve people and love others and like just tell you what's been working for us. So,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
true.
I think that's all.
It's true. And remember that this season will pass.
Yep.
It won't be forever. It might feel long when you're in the middle of it, but it won't actually last forever.
And then when it's gone,
You'll look back and remember the days.
ugh, you
Yeah.
will.
Like, my sleep deprivation was definitely the worst with my first child because of just the way that I chose to do sleep with him, and I did some of those, like, sleep associations that we talked about, and
Yeah.
it was so hard when I was in the middle of it. But now I look back at it and I'm like, it was hard, but now it's, like, fuzzy, like, that memory of, like, how I felt is kind of fuzzy, like, I don't remember it the same. And
Yeah.
now I'm still tired, but in different ways because you kind of have to adapt to your situation and learn as you go.
Yeah, and you have a full house and a full heart and it's all worth it.
Yeah, and like you said, take care of your body and think about your environment, and it'll get better.
It all plays a role in it. So,
Yeah.
I don't have a cup,
So
but I'll get one. Until
until
next time.
next time,
What
what
the
the
mom?
mom